Calling the City Council meeting to order. Monday, June 4th, 2007, right at 7 o'clock p.m. This evening we'll have the invocation by Pastor Jimmy Williams, the new pastor at Greater New Mount Zion AME Church. I want to welcome him and have him to come forward and give the invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilman Porter. Would you all please stand? And the Police Explorers.
Let us pray. Gracious and eternal God, we thank you for today and the strength that you have given us. We pray now for this council meeting for the city of Homestead, and we pray that all of our leaders are here and they're represented and they will be in your will to conduct the business session for Homestead community. In this we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you.
And thank you, Councilman Porter. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Warren.
Here.
Vice Mayor Losner.
Here.
Councilwoman Bell. Here. Councilwoman Garner. Here. Councilman Hodge.
Here.
Councilman Porter.
Here.
Councilwoman Waldman.
And Councilman Waldman is running a couple of minutes late, but she will be here this evening. Any additions, deletions, or deferral? I see none. Special presentation. Councilwoman Bell, fiscal year ending September 30, 2006, the comprehensive annual financial report presentation.
Mr. Chioka.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Councilman, Councilwomen, City Manager. My name is Jerry Chioka from the firm of Brackman, Cohen & Holtz. I'm here to present the annual financial statement for the City of Homestead for the year ended September 30, 2006. I have with me Dwayne Mathis, who was the audit supervisor and conducted the audit this year. As you know, Jan Smith left our firm for some reason and is now working for the City of Homestead, so Dwayne kindly stepped in to pick up the fray. If I could direct your attention to page 1, it's our auditor's opinion. I'm not sure if everybody's got the same, but I'll just say it briefly, that our opinion is that the financial statements referred to throughout the financial statements appear fairly stated in all material respects for the governmental activities, the business type activities, and each major fund for the year ended September 30, 2006. As I met with all of you over the last several months for a specific detailed analysis, I will just highlight some of the ones tonight. If you go to page 16, you'll see that this is the statement of net assets, which is the one place in the financial statements where it shows all the total assets and liabilities of the city. In the far right-hand corner, you'll see that the total assets were a little over $333 million. Total liabilities were $53 million, and net assets were $280 million, of which $216 million was invested in capital assets. As you know, for almost all cities, the invested in capital assets is the larger component of the net assets. That's your land, your buildings, your utility plants, etc. It's no different here. If you look at the next to last line, the unrestricted net assets line for the governmental activities, we have unrestricted of $24 million, of which as of September 30, 2006, we had over $31 million in cash and investments, so that was certainly a very secure position to have back then. $28 million of also unrestricted net assets for the business type activities, of which you had about $21 million there in cash and cash equivalents. On page 17 is the statement of activities. And not to go into too much detail, if you go to the change in net assets line, fourth line from the bottom, you'll see that the governmental activities had a positive change in net assets of a little over $5 million. The business type activities had almost $5 million for about a $10 million change in net assets. Again, very, very positive. Page 18 is the old style balance sheet. I just want to highlight again there, total governmental funds were almost $50 million, liabilities of 10.4, net assets of $38 million. If you look in the first column, the general column, we have $8.6 million as of September 30, 2006 as unreserved and reported in the general fund, 8.9 in the special revenue, etc. If you look at the line that says reserve for statutory requirement of $3.7 million, that's the amount that the council decided to put back for that rainy day of about 10% of your revenue. So that's right now fully funded up to the number that you wanted it to be. On page 22, I'm not sure if I'm following my script anymore. Page 22 is the statement of net assets for the proprietary funds. Second to the right-hand column, we have $91 million in total assets, liabilities of $24 million, and again, net assets of $66 million, of which $38 million is invested in capital assets. When we did our testing of your long-term debt and capital leases, etc., based on the bond ordinances and resolutions, we found that all the covenants were positive and there was no problem with not meeting debt service requirements, etc. Page 24 is the cash flows for the utility companies, utility enterprise funds, excuse me. Halfway down you'll see that there's a net increase in cash and cash equivalents for all the different utility funds, the water and sewer, the electric, solid waste, and the stormwater, etc., to the tune of almost $3 million in cash increases. Page 25 and 26 is the pension funds. On page 25, total assets of your pension funds are $74.5 million, 2.5 are liabilities, of which there's a liability to the drop plan of 2.1, showing net assets held in trust for pension benefits of over $72 million. The changes in the net assets during the year we had on page 26, total contributions of $7.4 million, net investment income of $4.5, transfers in from the old retirement plan of $1 million. We had total additions of just under $13 million. When reducing it by the deductions, your pension benefits and admin expenses of $5.4, we have a net increase in pension benefits of $7.5 million. So your pension plans are in good shape. If we could jump to page 74 and 75, that's your comparison of your general fund budget. As required by state law, it needs to be in balance. And you can look on page 75 by looking at the two dashes on the bottom that it is in balance. So we'll go through some of the specifics. On page 74, total revenues, which your final budget was $31.1 million. You received $33.9, so you had a positive variance of $2.7 million. In the expenditures, we had a final budget of $41.5. We only spent $38.6, so again, we had a positive variance of $2.8 million. And as we look through the other financing sources and transfers in and appropriation fund balance, it shows a change in fund balance of a negative $2.7 million. But what you have to consider, in the final budget amounts, we anticipated using 8.7 of your prior year's fund balance. We only used 2.7. I use the colloquial we, but I mean the city, only used $2.7 million, so we're really a positive of the $5.6 million which you budget to your actual. In the back is the compliance section starting on page 116. The first one is our report on internal control of financial reporting and other matters. As to internal control of financial reporting, the last line on that page, it says we noted no matters involving internal control over financial reporting and its operation that we consider to be material weaknesses. On page 117, again, on the compliance, the results of our test disclose no instances of non-compliance of the government auditing standards that I have to present to you all tonight. Page 118 and 119 is a management letter in accordance with the rules of the Auditor General. Again, for the second year, there were no recommendations made in the preceding financial audit. There were no recommendations in this year's audit. There was no items of internal call that we needed to present to you to improve the system. Also, the city was in compliance with the Florida statutes regarding the investment of public funds. Again, that's a requirement that we need to disclose to you tonight. Again, there was no connection with the audit. We did not have any findings to bring out to you today. On the top of page 119, we're required to talk to you about any violation of laws, rules, regulation, any improper or illegal expenditures, any improper or inadequate accounting procedures, etc., that we're meant to bring up before you today again. On the third paragraph, that's section 10.554 of the Florida statutes that has to do with a financial emergency. I know that's been a bad thing to say here in the last several years, but there was nothing there to say that there's a financial emergency going on here. Also, the next to last one, we made some financial assessments to determine if there was a deteriorating or financial condition, which if there was something or there was something to head off a financial emergency, that would be the next step. There was no findings that identified any deteriorating financial condition. The remainder of the reports from page 120 on have to do with the single audit. That's the auditing of your federal and state grants. Again, we found no issues there. They were in very good shape, surprisingly well for a city of this size. Usually there's always something we could find. We did not find anything. I'm not sure if Blaine's really doing his job in this area, so I'll have to kick him in the pants. Any questions? I'll be more than happy to address them. Before that, I want to thank Jan, the new finance director, and certainly Kurt and his staff. You know, we have a long-standing professional relationship, although we're independent. It's very good to have a professional relationship. Your staff always calls me ahead of the game, ahead of the curve, to ask questions, see what they're doing, they should be doing, so what I think of something, and that's really the way to do it before it's put into stone and can't be changed. So again, thank you for your staff, and any questions I will have to answer.
Thank you, Mr. Chioka. Thank you very much. And Jan, I have to say that your loss is our gain. We snatched Jan from the accounting firm, so we appreciate that. Any questions from council for Jerry?
Madam Chair, let me...
That was not very reassuring, thank you.
Not only let me thank the chair of the committee for keeping a watchful eye on the finances of the city, Chairman Bell, and certainly to you, Jerry, and your colleagues, Wayne, and Jan, for doing a superb job. Let me just ask two quick questions. In terms of the area of grants and contracts, did you find any problems there in terms of management?
No.
Processes in the grants and contract area?
The processes follow your internal controls of the city, so they were in good shape. The reports were filed timely, the reimbursement packages were filed timely, the money came in appropriately after that.
And I think you mentioned in terms of our long-term bond indebtedness that we were very timely in response, and when you look at our bond indebtedness and in the future, do you have any future concerns about?
No. Well, I don't know what the state's going to do. I'm telling all our clients to do 2 or 3 scenarios and just wait till they come down with something. Don't keep changing every time they wake up and tell us a new set of ideas, because they're just wasting their time until they come out with something. And it's going to be a rollback this year. They put it on the ballot in January. Who knows? But I know something's going to happen, and you have to do your homework to see what you're really going to do. I mean, I have a client in Broward County where they contract with a lot of cities for police. And the cities will tell them, listen, instead of the 25, I only need 20. I only need 15. They're going to have some cutbacks. So they're starting to plan it. So, Jan, I know we've talked to Jan several times every couple of weeks about what she's doing. And again, it's just a wait and see. Hopefully they don't make too much of a mess up there.
Good. But thanks again to you and Wayne and Jan. Outstanding job. Appreciate it. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry.
Need a motion to accept. Motion to
Is there a
accept.
motion to accept the report?
I'll move it. Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any comments or further questions from council? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And the ayes carry. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. Item 5B is the special recognition for Southgate High School's athletic director, Mr. Joel Fenari. It's Councilwoman Judy Warman. No, that's it. Is Joel here?
He's here.
Come on up.
I'm going to ask his lovely wife, Sherry, to come up here, too. Hi there, guys. And your family, all your family, please. Come on. Come on up here. I only see you at on the golf course winning all those tournaments, so. It's my pleasure to honor tonight not only a wonderful humanitarian for the city of Homestead, but also my friend. He is the greatest guy. Joel Fenari, the mayor introduced him, Joel Fenari. He is the athletic director for Southgate High School. He started as a head basketball coach and activities director in 1978. He's been here in Homestead since 1978, right? Right. He has 2 children, Dustin, who's 20 years old, and Carla, who's 18 years old. And he served as the athletic director for Southgate from 1984 to present. And that's a long time. That's a very long time.
That's why I'm old.
We all know Joel for all of his community activities. We know him best for the George Meyer Golf Tournament, and I'm going to ask him to speak a little bit on that in a few seconds, as to all the different children that he touches through this tournament. And I can tell you that it is not easy. I think that is the biggest tournament that we have here in Southgate. Is that not correct, Joel?
It's a lot of work.
And there are just hundreds and hundreds of people that come and participate, and he's always calling, we need help. And I don't think anybody can say no to Joel. I really don't, because we all get out there and we do what we can do. But he's also been, student volunteer coordinator. Are you still that? Okay, so he's still the student volunteer coordinator, World Golf Championship at Doral and nationwide tour stop at the Miccosukee, board of directors for the Dade School Athletic Foundation, and he also served with my husband for many years as a board member for the YMCA, and never said no on that as well. His honors include the FIAAA Award of Merit, member of Miami Coral Park High School Athletic Hall of Fame, Southgate High School Concourse of Champions, and the Louis Bean Scholarship Fund Award of Excellence. I'd also like to ask his principal to step up tonight. I'm probably going to say this wrong, but her name is Miss Janice Reinecke. Is Miss Reinecke in the audience? Oh, that's a shame, because I specifically asked that she be present tonight to share in this tribute to Joel Fenari, because I'm telling you, If you have children in this community, he's touched them. One way or the other, he has touched them. So, Joel, tonight I'd like to present to you this beautiful plaque in appreciation of Joel Fenari for his outstanding dedication and contribution to the community. From Mayor and Council.
I'd like to thank the Mayor and Council very much for this award. I also would like to thank the City of Homestead. This year, we really, with the George Myers Celebrity Golf Classic, we really reached out to the city, and through the efforts of many council people, including Jeff Porter and Judy and everybody else, Linda, Steve, I just can't thank you enough for all the help that you did in helping us secure the Champions Room at the racetrack for our cocktail party. We had 800 people there, and I really thank you for that. They really helped in our efforts. And also, Jeff and the city, I'd like to thank you for your support on behalf of Don Drinkon, our football coach of 24 years who retired this year, and because of the support of the city, we were able to honor him in a manner that the man deserves, and I want to thank you very much for that. As far as look, I just love Homestead. It's a great place to live. It's a great place to raise my kids, and I wouldn't change anything in my life. Thank you very much.
And I specifically want to thank Joel because it never fails. Every single year, a little check shows up at the Little Angels, either the P.O. box or in one of the Angels' hands for at least $2,000 every year, and that buys a lot of formula and wheelchairs and everything else. So thank you, Joel. You don't toot your horn enough. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilwoman Woolman. Next is Citizens for Better South Florida presentation. Councilman Hodge.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Is there a representative from Enterprise Rental Car here? Tofiona? Okay. I couldn't see you back there. I wasn't sure.
Thank you, Councilman. Mayor, Councilman, and woman, it's a pleasure to see some of you again. One thing about Homestead, it's very near and dear to my heart. A couple of you know me. I started my career in Enterprise here. I was here 3 years, and I'm very happy to be back. I'm now at the regional office. I do miss a couple of you, and it was a pleasure that Councilman Hodge offered me the opportunity to speak about an event that we're going to be having, Enterprise is sponsoring. The event is actually going to be a casino night, but what we're going to be targeting is a local community or a not-for-profit agency that exists. It's called Citizens for a Better South Florida. What they do basically is they look on the environment that we have right now. The average canopy for any urban area is at a standard of 30%, meaning tree cover and just forestry. As it stands right now, South Florida, we're at 10%. And we're still building and we're still getting rid of all the foliage that we have. So one thing about Enterprise is we're going into the community and we're making ourselves known, and one way we figured that we could do this best is also through one of our local chapters. And what I'd like to do is just give you a little idea of what they are. Citizens for a Better South Florida was founded in 1988 as one of the first multilingual environmental education organizations in the United States. Their mission is to improve quality of life through instilling environmental awareness within South Florida's diverse multilingual communities. Over the last 15 years, They have designed experimental, multilingual, educational, and research programs for students, teachers, and community organizations. Such activities include festivals, environmental field trips, curriculum developments, training, tree planting, workshops, in-class visits, you name it. They are responsible for a lot of events. And that's one of the reasons we chose this particular charity to have this casino night. All proceeds will be towards them. And one thing also with Enterprise, we are also going to be helping in a tree planting exercise for them on the 22nd. So it's not that we're just choosing them, but we're actually going to be helping them plant trees. And specifically, the casino night is on the 29th. It is going to be at the Doral Country Club. And it is also, as I said, all proceeds going towards this event. And Enterprise would definitely like any support of any local businesses that would like to join us in supporting such a local endeavor in our community. Any questions on anything? Did a quick synopsis.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Item 5D is the Seminole Theater update. Mr. Frank May and Ms. Councilwoman Wallman.
Can I go before you?
Yes, of course.
I have a very special announcement to make tonight. Can I ask all the board members of the Seminole Theater if anybody's present? Just you? Okay, Yvonne? You? Okay. I have to read this. I didn't want to make any mistakes, so I put it all down on paper. On April 20th, 2007, the city applied to the state of Florida for a community development block grant in the amount of $750,000. The purpose of the grant application was to provide part of the funding for the interior renovations of the Seminole Theater. The grant will be matched by $110,000 from the CRA, $500,000 by the county, and $36,163 in fundraising by the Theater Management Group. Based on the score ranking published last week by the Department of Community Affairs, the application is ranked number 2, and there is adequate funding available to fully fund the application. This is good news, folks. A contract should be issued to the city for the funding in the late fall, and with this $750,000 and pledges from the CRA and the county, the balance of the funding necessary for the completion of construction is attainable. The theater group submitted a $350,000 grant request to the State Division of Historic Preservation last week, which I worked with Frank on that. Yes. And other grant applications are in the works, and we've applied to be on the National Register, right? We are in the process of applying. I gave him all the paperwork, and I call him every week. Have you done this? Are we on deadline? So once we get approved for that, then we'll also be able to apply for grants on a national level as well. So I'm so proud of Frank and the group, and I know there were a lot of naysayers that said it can't be done, but we're going to do it, and this $750,000 plus matching funds will be ours. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Mayor, members of the council, I'm Frank May, president of the Seminole Theater Group. In addition to the successful small city CDBG grant, which was just described, the Seminole Theater also applied for a special category historic preservation grant in the amount of $350,000 for the interior renovation of the theater with the assistance of a grant consultant, Angie Brewer and Associates. We also applied for a Miami-Dade County Capital Development Grant in the amount of $21,650 for handicapped accessibility to the theater's main lobby entrance. This is very important. Once the theater is actually functioning, there is very little accessibility for handicapped persons to enter the main lobby, and that's what this grant is for. Mr. Losner, we accepted AMS Planning and Research Consultants for the feasibility study, and we will start work on that very soon. We revised all plans and construction documents to conform to new building codes and submitted them to the Miami-Dade County Fire Marshal for approval. All of our construction documents required a a renovation, and I've actually done that with the architects, submitted them to the Fire Marshal's office. They have been returned. We are working on several minor exceptions, and we will resubmit those and resubmit the plans to the city probably in about 2 weeks. The Seminole Theater, with the assistance of the city and with the county, is very aggressively raising money for the completion of this project, and I think that within several months we will be very close to having the complete amount of money that we will need for the renovation of the theater. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. I can't overemphasize the effort that Frank May and that board is putting toward the restoration of the Seminole Theater, and the countless hours that Frank, in particular as the chair, spends in trying to find resources to complete that project is just unbelievable. And the city is paying Frank a big salary of $0 a year to do it. So I just want to again thank you for your effort, and more importantly, thank you for your commitment to the restoration of the Seminole Theater. We thank you so very much. And let's move on. Item 5E is the Main Street update. Yvonne knows.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Mr. Ivey. The Main Street, we'd like to report on the event that was this last weekend, which was our Purple Martin bike ride. We had a wonderful response from the public. The Purple Martin bike ride was a big success, and we're already planning next year's. For those members of the community who would like to get involved and be part of the planning, because we want to do a 2-day event next year, please contact me via the website or via the phone at Homestead Main Street. At this time, I'd like to give a special thank you to Leslie Ann Spinella, Miss Homestead, who led off our ride on Saturday. Also, I'd like to thank the Golden Corral Restaurant, who provided a wonderful breakfast for us, and Night Spikes, who provide all the support for the ride. The many newcomers that came to Homestead to participate in this ride were very much interested in what we were trying to do downtown with the historic preservation and with the small shops and our independent businesses, such as our independent bookstore. And there's many comments. I'd like to read one that came by the email to me. Al from Pinecrest wrote, "I would like to say that we had a blast on the bike ride on the 26th of May. We learned a lot about Homestead and how we can still preserve such an historic town of Dade County." And for that I say amen. Al, thank you so much. New events, June 21st, 7 p.m. at the Historic Town Hall Museum. The public is invited to hear Man's Quest to Explore Under the Sea. Please come and meet Drs. Joe and Sally Bauer as they tell the story of the unique Florida Keys history of Diving Museum and how it began. The museum strives to tell the entire international story of diving, illustrated through the world's most complete collection of historical diving apparatus. A fascinating evening will leave you with a better understanding of the true history of diving and how this history has impacted the way people do things in everyday life in the world today. Again, that's June 21st at 7 p.m. at the Historic Town Hall Museum. The Facade Improvement Program grant awards have been completed, and the recipients have been notified. We are proud to announce the 11 recipients are Simmons Bar and Package Store, Casita Tejas Restaurant, Landmark Hotel, Stick and Stein Sports Bar, the Greenstone Motel, the Sanctuary Arts South, the Antique Mall on Chrome Avenue, Marcus & Marcus Law Offices, the Bargain Shop on Flagler, the Windsor Building, and Spellbound Books and Gifts. Main Street would like to mention a special thank you to the city and to the CRA department for the Losner Park refurbishment project. This is going to be a great enhancement to the downtown district and will complement the facade improvement program with this lovely pedestrian-friendly park. For those who haven't seen the new park, please come on down and see what the city has accomplished. They have redesigned the drainage, which is a major impetus for doing the park, but in the meantime, they redesigned the walkway and the tree landscaping, and it is a very beautiful park now. Finally, we would like to announce our July event will be a murder mystery tea on July 14th at Spellbound Bookstore from 2 to 4. There will be more information on our website as we finalize the arrangements for this very unique event. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yvonne, and keep up the good work. Item 6 is a consent agenda. Is motion for approval?
Mayor, I'd like to just pull out item E. I just want to make a statement on it.
Been properly moved and second. Councilwoman Bell?
Thank you. I wanted to make a statement on this. I know it was passed at the COW, and I do believe that this council brought this forth with the best intentions. I believe that with all my heart. But I cannot support it. I cannot support the city of Homestead telling the federal government how they should or should not act on a federal issue. This is not a city issue. This is a federal issue, and the city of Homestead should not be dictating federal immigration policy. That is not, it's not anti-immigration. It's not anti-legal immigration. This is a statement of the city of Homestead dictating or telling the federal government, and as far as I'm concerned, especially in the area of Homeland Security. And I have a real problem with the city of Homestead telling the Department of Homeland Security to have a moratorium on detentions and deportations. And I wanted to make a statement too. I really do believe that this is very symbolic, and I could have probably just let it go, but I have to state how I feel about it. I cannot say yes to this consent agenda with this item on it. It is not anti-immigration. My grandchildren have a last name of De Leon, and their father is from Mexico. So this is definitely not anything other than the fact that this is not a city issue. I repeat, it's not a city issue. Also, I do believe that undocumented non-criminal, how can you know if they're criminal or non-criminal if they're not documented? If there's no identification, if there's no way to detect that, you cannot know that. So, and I think that this is an item that the federal government is attempting to deal with. Whether you like it or don't like it, it's not for discussion tonight, but I want everybody to be very, very clear. It's not anti-anything. It's just this is not where the city of Homestead should be delving. This is something that I just really, very much within my heart believes this is I know it's a federal issue, and we should not be telling or dictating the federal government nor Homeland Security. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Bell. Mr. Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Mayor. When this came before us, I guess 3 weeks ago, I too opposed it, and I noted also then at that point that I felt it was a federal issue, but that the language contained in the resolution that was adopted, I felt at the time was far too broad. And while I would note that what's before us tonight has been substantially changed and lightened, if you will, from what was brought before us, while it is a federal issue, certainly the big picture immigration issue is very important and very vital to the economy of the mainstay industry of our community, which remains agriculture and those ancillary industries. And it is an important issue, but it's not going to be resolved here. My primary problem is that I believe that the language contained that while I believe there were some good intentions or no bad intentions here, I believe that, if what we're asking were implemented as a policy, there would be tremendous unintended negative consequences for our community, and as such, I cannot support it because I believe the language contained in it, in addition to it not really being a direct city issue, that the language in the resolution goes way too far. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Mr. Hall.
Thank you, Mayor. I do respect the wishes of my colleagues. However, I did bring this resolution to the council in the purpose to support of the community that we do have, and the community that's done so much and economically impacted our community as well, and deserve an opportunity to participate and be every bit of a citizen as we are, because they come and they do the work and they put in the efforts to do so. Also, this ordinance was previously passed by our county as well as our sister city, Florida City. So only behooves us to fall in line and to support those that support us every day with the hard work that they put out and the hard work that they do. So we need to support them and help them in their endeavors. So I do ask the council to come with me and help me support putting this through. Thank you.
Mayor?
Thank you, Ms. Hodge. Ms. Bell?
I have to make another comment, especially with that round of applause. I want to be very, very clear about this. I'm not going to have my comments misstated or misunderstood. You don't have to prod, you don't have to, I don't care. I'm just going to tell you like it is. This is a federal issue. And supporting this has nothing to do, as far as I'm concerned. When I speak to this, it has nothing to do with supporting or not supporting the community. I want to make that very, very clear. And I know Mr. Hodge didn't mean to say that I wasn't supporting the community, but I want to make that very, very clear. By not supporting this item doesn't mean I don't support my community. I don't think this says anything. I think it's very symbolic, but I must speak out against it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bell. Let me first thank Mr. Hodge for bringing this issue before us, because it has a tremendous impact on our community. Our federal government works for us, and I think when you say it's a federal issue and not a local issue, that we comprise that federal entity up there in Washington, and we have voices up there supposed to listen and assist us in accomplishing the things that we need accomplished in our little community of Homestead. We have a very diverse community. We have a multitude of immigrants from all over, from Mexico, from Venezuela, from Chile, you name it, that are here making a valuable contribution to the economy in the city of Homestead. And when we don't have immigration reform to assist families and children in particular in our community that are U.S. citizens, and their parents are not, but they are, thousands of kids throughout the state of Florida. And we need to be their voices to send a very clear message to Washington that they need to work hard to bring forth comprehensive immigration reform to help our immigrants here in Homestead and every place else. So I think the resolution is in order. I think we need to support it, and we need to be the voices and do whatever we can to help so many families and children out there that need assistance from their local government. So we comprise that federal bureaucracy up there in Washington. We should be the voice that speak out on behalf of the ones that can't speak for themselves. So I certainly go along with Mr. Hodge in asking that the council move this forward in support of the immigrants in our community, certainly to back the support that we receive from Miami-Dade County and from the city of Florida cities and other cities in Miami-Dade County and throughout the state of Florida. So I think it's timely that we do it, and we need to join the voices and make our voices heard in Washington. So I ask for your support on this issue also.
I'll move the resolution, Mayor.
And properly moved by Councilman Porter and second by Councilwoman Gorman. Councilman Garner?
Oh, second. Can I just make my Sure. I just want to share a story with you. Last year, I was asked by Zipper Maria Garza to speak at the graduation ceremonies for the migrant children. It was held at Signature Gardens. I'm sure some of you were in that audience. I have never been more touched to see the graduates come down the aisle with their parents on either side of the students. This was an experience that I wish all of you could have shared with me, because it it was just amazing because those parents knew that this was a dream come true for them, that their children could graduate from high school here in this community. And many of them were afraid to even attend the graduation ceremonies, but they were encouraged to do so. And it was just, and I realize this is a federal issue. This is going to be a federal issue. But I just can tell you that today, this is just me speaking, I'd like to invite you to get involved in our community. And I'm going to work with the council to do that because we need help with beautifying our city. We need help. We need to educate everyone that we have to pick up the trash. We have to pick up the litter. It's not just the person that lives on the east side or the west side or the south side or the north side. It's all of us as one in unity. So I'm inviting you tonight to be a part of our community and to get out there, attend the events. Main Street told you about all the wonderful events at Losner Park. You're part of the community. You need to belong, and you need to know that we want you to belong. We want you to participate. So I hope that we can work together and make some really good things happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wallman. Any other comments? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Bell?
No.
Councilwoman Garner?
Yes.
Councilman Hodge?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Losner?
No.
Councilman Porter?
Yes.
Councilwoman Waldman?
Yes.
Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Mayor, I believe we just need a vote on the balance of the consent agenda.
Motion moved by Councilwoman Bell. Is there a second? Second. Second by Councilwoman Wallman. Any further discussion on the balance of the consent agenda? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? We now with public hearings, ordinance, land use items. Are we there? No. Yeah.
None.
None? Legislative matters, item 8A.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a final reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending firefighters' retirement plan, Article 4, Chapter 22.5, Retirement Programs of the City Code, by amending Section 22.5-257, Retirement Dates and Benefits, to provide for normal retirement upon attainment of age 52 and completion of 25 years of credited service, providing for inclusion in code, and providing an effective date.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Bell, second by Councilman Hodge. Any comments from council? This is the second and final reading. Any comments from the audience? Any comments from the audience? If not, I'll close the public hearing. Any final comments from council? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Hodge?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Losner?
Yes.
Councilman Porter?
Yes.
Councilwoman Waldman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Garner?
Yes.
Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Mayor, item 8A2, final reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the City Code of Ordinances by amending Chapter 25, Subdivisions and Platting, Article 4, Improvements, by establishing Section 25-135, Refunds for Off-Site Roadway Improvements, providing for severability, providing for inclusion in the code, providing for conflicts, and providing for effective date.
I'll move it, Mayor.
Moved by Councilwoman Bell. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Hodge. Any questions? This is the second and final reading. Any comments from the audience? Any comments from the audience? If not, I'll close the public hearing. Any final comments from council? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Losner?
Yes.
Councilman Porter?
Yes.
Councilwoman Waldman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Garner?
Yes.
Councilman Hodge?
Yes.
Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Motion carries.
At this time, any public comments? Any public comments? Anyone in the public want to speak on whatever issue at this time? If is in regards to the immigration issue? Well, we've already approved that resolution. You want to come up to the mic on behalf of the ones that are here and say a few words? Could you let them know in Spanish that the immigration resolution was approved?
Muy buenas noches, el alcalde, y quieren que sepa que se aprobó la resolución que se presentó esta noche. Gracias a todos.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, Mr. Ivy. My name is Juanita Alvarez Mainster. I reside at 19725 Southwest 241 Terrace in Homestead, Florida. I have been a resident of this area for over 35 years. I have seen Homestead evolve into quite a diverse community. Tonight, I just briefly want to thank you very much for your consideration of this resolution. I know that it is a federal issue when it comes to making decisions. But this resolution was brought to you as members of this community and asking and seeking your support. So for that, we thank you very, very much tonight. Muchas gracias.
Bonsoir, buenas tardes. I would like to thank everyone who made the effort to be here today. My name is Rochnell, and I'm living in this community over 20 years. And I appreciate the council, those who support this resolution, and those who do not. So we will continue to work together and to make the change, have a better community. Thank you.
To Anita Mainster and many of you that work in various capacities working on behalf of our migrant community. And I think I will be speaking on behalf of the mayor and council in the city of Homestead. We want to thank you for what you do out there. We don't have the resources to do what you're doing to help the children and the families out there that need that support services. And you guys do it day in and day out on behalf of thousands of families and thousands of children. So as the mayor of the city of Homestead, I certainly want to thank you all for what you do day in and day out and try and make a difference in helping others that in most cases can't help themselves. So thank you all so very much.
I just want to thank the City of Homestead that proved its leadership. Issues are neither local, state, or federal. Issues affect people. This council has gone to Tallahassee and Washington, I'm sure, to lobby on health care, on police enforcement, on a variety of issues, and we want to thank those who saw the impact. Homestead went through a natural disaster. We don't want This is Tomasa from Massachusetts. We don't want this to be the fate of the children and the families of Homestead. Immigrants sustain many of the economies of Florida. You mentioned agriculture, there's construction, there's tourism, and the only crime that immigrants have committed was being born in places where there's poverty, where there's violence, where there's natural disasters. So we need policies that recognize people's humanity and the value of their work. They've paid enough in blood, sweat, and tears. We want to thank the City of Homestead for saying we need immigration reform that values families and protects workers. Thank you.
Now, this will be the last presentation. We got an agenda.
Mira, muy buenas tardes a todos los alcaldes de Homestead y alcalde de Florida City. Aquí estoy para apoyar a todos los inmigrantes. Yo soy inmigrante, yo soy guatemalteca y yo vine aquí, nosotros venimos aquí a buscar el futuro a nuestro hijo. Yo soy inmigrante cuando yo llegué aquí en este país y ahora ya tengo la ciudadanía americana, ya voté en este año. Ojalá que siga, que nos apoye, que nos abre su corazón para que nos apoye a todos los inmigrantes en toda parte de Centroamérica y United States. Gracias, yo soy guatemalteco y con mucho gusto usted que nos está apoyando de todo, a todo el mundo. Nosotros somos trabajadores, no somos criminal y nosotros somos del campo, trabajamos, echamos ganas en el trabajo para sacar a nuestros hijos y que sepa la policía también. Nosotros no tenemos licencia, la gente no tiene licencia, la policía que sí para llevar a los hijos a la escuela, a trabajar, para sacar a los hijos adelante. Es todo lo que lo puedo decir. Gracias a ustedes.
I'm just gonna summarize what Felipe Tomas just said. She says she's an immigrant. She's from Guatemala. She came here many years ago. Now she's a citizen, and she got her voting card, and she voted in the last election. That many immigrants come here to work. They contribute to this country. They pick in the fields. They come here for a better life for their children. And she thanks all the elected officials who voted in favor of this resolution, the support that you gave to immigrants. So she says, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
Bonsoir. Nous t'arrêtons que moi-même, moi, les Claire Congé, je suis citoyen américain. I got 23 years journalist at Florida City, Homestead, 23 years. I don't have nothing problem. Je suis bien bas. Je ne parle pas créole tout, je suis pour transmettre pour moi, pour comprendre ça m'a dit. Bon, son membre dans les 40, dans le Talassi, dans la bataille. Je n'ai pas de raison pour me bataille, mais moi, toute nation. Moi, mes nations américaines, moi, mes nations haïtiennes, moi, mes nations Guatemala, moi, mes nations mexicaines, moi, mes toute qualité nation dans le pays à ma vivre là. Aujourd'hui, je suis bien bas après-midi pour me dire, City Homestead, merci beaucoup. Thank you very much. Me City, Florida City, je suis bien bas pour me dire merci beaucoup pour le travail que nous faisons dans la communauté. Moi-même, je suis un grand monde, côté nous, je suis avec nous. Côté la femme, nous sommes ensemble avec nous. La bataille pour nous, un jour, si bagaille arrangé, la City Homestead avec Florida City. Thank you, thank you, thank you City Homestead, thank you Florida City, thank you tout le peuple qui là, nous comptons nous. Nous comptons nous. Nous avons prié chaque bagaille qui a passé pour nous tous camper, mais dans la main, pour nous parler. Faut qu'elle baille nous parole là pour moi, s'il vous plaît.
Let me briefly summarize what she just said. She mentioned all those nationalities who are here today, and she would like to thank all those who support this resolution in Homestead, Florida City. She's been living in Homestead for over 25 years. So she's been around the state advocacy for this community. So she's proud to this city tonight and to thank you and thank you again for taking part of this resolution.
Thank you. Thank you, and that ends all public comments on this issue. Thank you also very much for coming out. Thank you, and we wish you good luck. Business from the city manager.
I have none tonight, Mayor.
Nice.
Councilman Hodge.
Real briefly, Mayor. You mentioned the conference or not?
I'm going to be upcoming. I don't want to call in.
Well, went to Las Vegas to the ICSC. Vice Mayor Lawson, myself, and Ms. Kamali, and John and Carla Aldra was there as well. And it was a great opportunity. It was probably the most amazing conference I've been to. Not only was it informative, but just the context that are there was just anything above amazing, and had a good time. And we've already have set a couple of appointments for individuals to come and take a closer look at the property here. So it was very effective, and we're just really excited about it. I'm on a conference high on that one, and it just can't come down, so we're just really excited about it. And I want to also reiterate Enterprise Rental Car and their casino night, and what they're trying to do in the community is plant more trees and more foliage in the communities, and I know that's near and dear to Mrs. Wallman's heart, so we want to support that and let them come down and put some more trees in Homestead to help us out here.
Please close the door.
And finally, I noticed Mr. Calderon is in the audience visiting us today, and just want to salute him in the audience. And that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hodge. Vice Mayor Losner?
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I think it was a couple of years ago, or maybe last year, you asked me to take the lead in making sure that the city as an entity, as a business entity, was prepared to continue to be up and running in the immediate aftermath of a hurricane. One of the lessons that we've learned well and many times over the last couple of years is that what's most important is the ability to get back in business following a severe tropical storm or a hurricane. And as we discussed last year, we acquired portable generation systems and additional equipment to keep those things that we sometimes refer to as mission critical up and running. This building, clearly the police station, the water treatment plant, as well as portability of power to the wastewater sewer lift stations. We're continuing in that program, and last year we had a hurricane preparedness event. I want to announce that this year the city has prepared a booklet for its citizen with tracking map and practical tips as for hurricane preparedness, relevant phone numbers, evacuation zones, flood zones, all of those things. And particularly since we still have so many newcomers to our community who didn't even live through the storms of a couple of years ago, or much less Hurricane Andrew. On June 14th here at City Hall at 6:30, we're going to have a hurricane preparedness seminar. These booklets will be available at that time. They're available in the lobby of City Hall at any time. And as we have these community events coordinated through the community policing, as were done last year, these booklets will be available as well then. And don't forget the tax-free days as well for hurricane supplies. On another issue, many of you, or those of you who have traditionally cast your ballots in any election, whether it be state, county, or local or federal elections, at the Senior Citizen Center in Northwest Homestead, you probably received a new voter registration card recently designating the Family Life Center, the First United Methodist Church, as your new polling place. That is what we anticipate for a one-year period only for the upcoming elections, due to the anticipated extensive renovations to be occurring at the Bill Dickinson Senior Citizen Center that we are hopeful will be well underway and preclude use of that facility for an election facility in the coming months whenever there may be regular or primary elections. I'm hopeful that in the next few weeks I've been working very closely with the city clerk, and we're working with the county elections department to realign some of the other polling places such that communities are not split as to their polling places. For example, now the residents of Keysgate are split between the clubhouse of the baseball stadium and the Villages of Homestead clubhouse. We're working toward having all of Keysgate vote in one location at the baseball stadium and take some of that burden off of the Villages of Homestead clubhouse, so that we know that since the last couple of elections, the traffic there at the foot traffic, the motor traffic, and we're always happy about motor traffic anywhere, will be taken out of the Villages clubhouse, and it adds to a sense of community that if you know you live in a particular subdivision, you and all of your friends in that particular project all vote at the same place. And we're also working toward having a polling place at one of the Waterstone facilities as well, so that community will have a polling place to call its own as well. As you know, we inexorably get older. My wife and I are coming to the point where many of our friends have children that are graduating this time of year, and I just want to congratulate the graduates from both of our high schools. And very timely to have Coach Fernari here for today. Interestingly enough, he started his first year at South Dade High School the year I started my senior year of high school in 1978. It's hard to believe that's been 29 years ago. But I just want to commend all of the graduates from both of our community schools. I know that as you look at the Silver Knight nominees and the recipients of the various scholarships from the organizations, the students from this community can go toe-to-toe with the kids from any neighborhood in South Florida. I don't care where else they go to school, whether it be downtown or on Coral Reef Drive, wherever it is, the young men and women of our community who are graduating are second to none other, and I want to commend all of them. Building upon Councilman Hodges' discussion on the ICSC presentation, we got someone's attention when we attended the convention where there were 70,000, I believe, registrants. It was just unbelievable. They are putting on the International Council of Shopping Centers is hosting a presentation in Coral Gables on the 27th of this month. I believe it's titled Eye on Homestead. And you may recall that we've had some conversation, and we've retained the Buxton Company to do some really deep demographic analysis and to really get the true facts and figures about our community out there. And those efforts, coupled with the efforts of Ms. Kamali and Councilman Hodge and others to put Homestead at the forefront, has really drawn the attention of top-name and top-notch commercial, not only the developers and the people who build and manage, but the actual retailers as well. And certainly I've always said that whether we build and place a new city hall is not nearly as important as what the reuse of this site is. And certainly we have the opportunity with this new attention to our community and the good things that are happening here and what the real economic demographics are to pick and choose what may go on this site to be a real icon and a landmark for this community asset. So I look forward to that, and certainly our efforts and the efforts of Buxton have not gone unnoticed. I think when this comes out of nowhere within just a couple of weeks of the wind-up of that huge conference, it's very significant and promising in a positive way for our community. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Certainly I want to thank you and Councilman Hodge for representing us, and apparently very well, because I was shocked too to get the email immediately to say that, you know, Homestead is being focused in Coral Gables. And I'm hoping we'll have a contingency there on the 22nd to be a part of that, because we're going to be showcased.
Absolutely.
And that's very good news. Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor.
Sir, can I add just one more thing? I want to say
you all did notice on the workshop?
It was definitely a lot of hard work, because I'm gonna tell you, my legs were sore at the end of the night. There was so much walking. I swear to God, I walked at least 25 miles in those 4 days.
And all of it related to just to get to the water. Okay. So it's saying city money well spent, right? Councilman Porter.
Mayor, just a couple of points. Mr. Ivey, did we
have we ever had any resolution to to decorative lighting on 328th Street project? I know Lucy is going on now. They've got the phase 1, the 4-lane going on. Have we been able to address that lighting, our signature lighting?
We are scheduled to put our signature lighting in there. Julio, if you want to make comment. We could.
The design for the second phase has it included, and the first phase is going to be included as well. So, and obviously the third phase as well too. So all 3 phases will have the decorative lighting.
Well, I know initially the lighting wasn't necessarily in the plans of the first phase, so we just wanted to make sure. I know that.
But they are being added, yes.
We just all want to make sure that east-west connector has got that lighting, that signature lighting.
Definitely.
So, okay. The only other thing I wanted to say, David, would you, express our condolences, my condolences to Joe Sirota and his mother passing away, and I know she had a long and full life, but Joe's been a huge supporter for us down here, works really hard and diligently, and we always are, it's a pleasure to have him here, and I'd just like to express our condolences in his mother's passing. That's all I had in there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Porter. Ms. Waldman?
Okay. I have a few things. I was asked to today to remind everyone of the website for the Homestead Soup Kitchen. It's www.homesteadsoupkitchen.com. So you can make contributions there. You can go there to find out what's going on. I didn't have time to go on it today, but last time I logged in, it was very informative. So remember the soup kitchen. I just want to tell you a little bit about our camps. Roby George Camp is full. It's full, and they have, it's beautiful down there. They've just done some exciting things, and I want to thank Mr. Porter's committee with the chief, because the police have just taken over this. The police have pretty much taken over the programs for Roby George, and of course with our wonderful Kurt Herron, who heads our Parks and Recs department. But without the police department, I don't think that we could have had a successful program this summer as we normally would have had. How many kids are down there? Isn't there, about 75 kids or 80 kids?
About 100 and something.
180.
How much? 187. Okay, I'm confusing that with the other camp on the east side. But anyway, they have some great programs. They have the field trips, the sports, the movies, everything. But most importantly is that they're emphasizing exercise, because I think so often physical education gets lost in today's schools and the programs. So we're bringing back exercise to the kids, and I think that's so important. The camp east of the highway, we have quite a few openings still there. It's $80 a week, and the camp runs from June 4th through August 10th, 9 to 5 in the Minor League Clubhouse. And the early gate drop-off is from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., and the late gate pickup is from 5 to 6:30 p.m. So mothers who are working and fathers who are working, if you want to put your children into a wonderful program that includes all the things that I mentioned before at Roby George, please do so. And you can call our Parks and Recs department for any further information on that. I wanted to again remind everybody, because I can't believe how fast time is going, but 4th of July is right around the corner, and we have some wonderful flyers. I don't know if we have any extras to pick up back there, but we'll have them here at City Hall, and we'll be distributing them throughout the community. We have the most authentic Jimmy Buffett tribute show on tour, and he's not Jimmy Buffett, but they're really, really good. The gates open at 4:30, and I believe 5:30 the early show starts, or 6. 5:30 the early show starts. So you can just come out there and just spend the whole evening with us, and you're going to see the most beautiful. Every year we all say, how can it get any better? And every year it's better. So it just amazes me. So I want to thank you to Parks and Recs. I also want to say thank you to Julio Brea, because he met me as spur of the moment out on North Canal Drive with some citizens who live in the villages and across the street, and they were concerned about the 4-laning, and he put all their fears to rest, including mine. So we spent about an hour and a half out there just walking around and making sure that everybody was comfortable and all their questions were answered. And I want to thank you very much for doing that, Julio. It was my privilege this weekend to attend Courtney Ramirez's graduation party and 18th birthday party. The mayor was there as well. I was asked to do the commencement speech, and I just had such a hard time because I love this little girl. She was the chief of our police explorers for 2 years, and she's just a remarkable young lady. So I wanted to give her credit where credit was due. So I wrote her a speech on life lessons and did it a la David Letterman, the top 10 list. So it was fun. We had a really good time, and I just wanted to say kudos to her because she's just a wonderful, wonderful lady. And she's a graduate of Homestead Senior High, Vice Mayor. And she graduated from the nursing program with credits already putting forth to her nursing degree, which she wants to be a paramedic. So I give her a lot of credit. I attended the mayor's conference, Build a More Beautiful Miami, and I'm sure he'll talk about that. But I was able to make some really nice contacts of some non-for-profit groups that want to work with me on some beautification projects. That, you know, they will supply all the manpower. You know, all I have to do is get the plants and trees donated, and I know that I can do that. We're already working on Earth Day for spring of 2008, and I know Kurt Herron's been working with Margie Buster on that, but we have some beautiful plans in the works and already have the trees lined up. So we're very excited about that. Attended Campbell Drive Elementary School Appreciation Breakfast on behalf of the Little Angels and also as part of the city. The Little Angels took care of the children there at Campbell Elementary who had mental or physical disabilities with Christmas gifts. So we bought them a $1,000 gift certificate to the toy store so that they could go and take care of that. And our city so graciously helped with that project as well. Councilman Porter and Councilwoman Bell was there as well. I showed up for the Purple Martin, ran into Mr. Porter, and they had already left. I thought I was on time, but they were already pedaling down the street. So that was kudos to them as well. I mean, they had a very successful event. So, Mayor, I think that's it. I'm just a busy girl.
Mayor, can I just make one comment?
Thank you, Ms. Waldman. Mr. Porter?
In regards to what Ms. Waldman said about the police department and they're stepping up and working with Parks and Rec on the endeavor down at Fica Williams, these guys have gone above and beyond, and the chief looks at this as an investment in the kids because, you know, if he can get 185 kids to come in and work in a controlled environment, get them off the streets, put them in some sort of recreation, educational institution, facility, at least he's got his hands around them for 2 or 3 months, you know. And so this is really a natural investment on behalf of the police department, and I got to commend the chief and his vision and his command staff for really stepping up, and he's got all the officers over there donating time, effort, money, going out and soliciting whatever they can to get this project done because it was way behind. It was not going to make it, and they have been able to really come step up, and Chief, you're a good man.
And Councilman Porter, I'd like, if it's all right with the mayor, to work with you because I know that there are many people within the community that are volunteering their time,
Absolutely.
Their work, you know, their skills, including our wonderful police officers. So I'd like to do an appreciation lunch or something for these wonderful volunteers because you are changing 180 children's lives. You really are. You really are. So thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Thank you, Ms. Waldman. And I, too, want to just chime in and say thanks to the chief and Marlene, because I didn't think it was going to work either. I got hopeless in a sense. And, you know, when you have that kind of coordination between the departments, I think that is, and it's been very, very effective. So I want to thank you guys for working together and finding the resources to help those young kids down there. That was very, very good. Councilwoman Garner. Oh, no, Councilwoman Bell.
I'm used to it, Mayor.
It's my bad.
I'm just going to let Amanda go first. I was out there at Roby George today and Michael Williams, and let me tell you, Roby George looks beautiful. You need to take a drive out there. It looks absolutely fantastic. And so, yeah, I'm going to jump on that bandwagon and say good job as well. I was the guest speaker at the Waterstone School for their 8th grade graduation, and it was wonderful. What a great class, and it was really wonderful to see all of the awards that they received. And there were 4 children in the 8th grade class that got perfect scores on I think it was the reading portion of the FCAT. Perfect. So I was really, they received awards. But these kids were so smart, so sharp. I was very pleased to do that. Also, I did a ribbon cutting ceremony and a proclamation at the Homestead Plant Expo Exhibition 2007 at the Youth Fairgrounds. And this actually, they had it 2 years ago, and then right after that, courtesy of Katrina and Wilma, that put them right out of business. Right after the first day of their opening, Wilma came and knocked all the trees down, and so it was over. So they skipped a year, and this time they were over in the exhibition hall at FIU. So it was really, really wonderful. And I stayed there almost the whole day and judged all of the different booths, the large booth and the small booth, and we judged. I was with Charles LaPratt and 2 others, and we judged all the different plant exhibits. And it was very hard because the plant exhibits are so beautiful. And so, and I'm such a layperson when it comes to, I just know what looks really nice. I don't really know. Charles would know if the pot hadn't been cleaned or washed or some leaves were frayed, and I'm thinking, well, the whole thing looks great. So it was good that we were a good blend, but it was a very nice day. Jeff and I both attended the celebration for Coach DrinkOn. And Jeff, I know you didn't mention it. I thought you were going to mention it, so I'm going to. What a great event that we were able to everybody was able to give him the honor. And Jeff read a proclamation in behalf of his honor on behalf of the mayor and council. So very, very wonderful event. And I really want to give my respects and regards to Jim Trantham and the Tim Trantham family on the loss of Tim, Jim's brother, and my respects to his wife and his children as well, and his grandchildren. So we went to the viewing, and let me tell you, it was just my prayers go out to that family. And Mayor, there's a couple of items I really wanted to bring up. Oh, I wanted to mention too, we are going to have a workshop right before the next council meeting on June the 18th. We're going to have a presentation on the red light running issue with the cameras at the traffic lights, and so we're going to have traffic packs come, and that's actually Norman and I, we went to Pinecrest with the manager as well as the chief, and we all went down there. Actually, Norman surprised us and met us there. We all went down there, and we got to see a wonderful presentation. And so they're going to be coming to council and giving a presentation to the entire council so everybody can see what is going on and how we think we can make this work. So that's going to be very exciting. Also, there's something I've been thinking about. When you, and this would be for Julio and for Sherry as well, obviously when you come out of the movie theater and when you come out of Chili's, you cannot make a left-hand turn. This is becoming a problem, obviously. People, I know they're not supposed to do a U-turn, but they are doing a U-turn. If you're just, if you're going to go east and you're going to go forward, that's not the problem, but the problem is people that have to go, people have to go back west. And I was thinking, why, and I understand there's a school right there, so that gives us some very specific limitations, but why could we not have a left-hand signal with specific hours? In other words, we could have a left-hand turn signal, but the hours of school operations would be exempted from that. It would say no left turns from the hours of, let's say school starts at 8:30, it would be 8 a.m. until 9:30 a.m., and then again in the afternoon for when they leave. Why can't we petition the county to get something like that so people can make a left-hand turn to leave? It's just a mess. It's a mess. So, for both of you.
We've been to the county several times with many different options to try to get something to work out there. One of the main reasons for not putting a light there is the proximity of the traffic signal on 157th. That doesn't allow the stacking of cars properly, and becomes sort of like a safety situation if you put a light there for any type of movement, whether it's a left turn or left turn from Campbell into the facility as well. So many different options have been looked at, and really none have really been none of them have really been successful in terms of meeting all the requirements in terms of minimum standards for safety and traffic signals. We're not giving up hope yet, so we're still trying to work with the developers to try to get some left turn activity into the shopping center, and there is a possibility to have another entrance further down that would allow that to happen. So those are the things we are working on now.
I drove all around to see if there was another possibility, and I see there's a lake right there, so you can't get an exit around it. So, I mean, I drove all over the area to see what would be another possibility. But I think that it's, and you know, I understand the situation, because when I looked and saw the light going into the turnpike, I said, this is, I pretty much guessed that this is why they're not doing it, but I still think that it could be managed if everything was timed, and everything would just be timed, that we could actually have that for a few seconds. Plus, when you leave the city hall, there's a traffic light right here, and then there's a traffic light right there. So, I mean, go ahead, Mike, Mr. Chavez.
Mr. Mayor, council members, we will explore any ideas with the county, but I just want to tell you the good news. When they 6-lane the road there, that particular intersection will still be a problem, but people will be able to go to 152nd and make a U-turn and come back. It's not allowed right now, but when you have 3 lanes on each side, you will be allowed to have a U-turn.
Okay, thank you. I just would like to see us exhaust any possibility. I thought that possibly just the timing could take care of it, because I've seen tighter, I mean, we've seen just lights with just as tight as that.
We'll bring that up to them as well and see if you know there's any hope for any other option. Like I said, there is another entrance that might work as well, so that's what we're looking at in addition to this.
And a couple weeks ago, I brought up the possibility of a temporary residential building moratorium, and so I wanted to know what the feedback was on that. What's, you know, is it possible? Is it not possible? Just, you know, for maybe till the end of the year, like maybe through January, on residential building only.
What we've done there so far, and I'll have Mike back me up because it was one of his initiatives, but we have met with developers in the area, telling them this concept has been floated, what was their thoughts on that, and to give us some of their concerns or no concerns, whatever it might be. I think at this point, I mean, we're really at a point, they did have some concerns, and it does, when you start looking into the mechanics of it, determining who's vested, who isn't, at what point does that occur, is going to take probably some legal review of that issue, and probably at this point money spent doing that, and so we may want to get a feel.
Yeah, we'd have to get direction from council, of course.
From everyone.
We'd have to get direction from everybody and see how everybody feels about it.
From speaking with James White about this, it's my understanding that the matter will be on the next COW agenda for discussion purposes.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you. Mayor, that's all I have.
Thank you, Councilwoman Bell. Councilwoman Garner?
Thank you, Mayor. Just one quick item. Our local American Red Cross office has moved. They're now going to be at 1452 North Chrome Avenue, which unfortunately it's in Florida City, but it's only a block in Florida City. They're having a grand opening celebration on Wednesday, June 6th, from 6:30 to 8:30, and they're going to have a ribbon cutting. So come on out there, meet the people that work there. They give a lot of classes. You can sign up for courses, which are also available in Spanish. So we hope to see you there.
Thank you, Councilwoman Garner. I have a couple of items. One is the appointment of Douglas LaRue. I think we have his application for the Historic Preservation Board appointment. Been properly moved by the Vice Mayor, second by Councilman Hodge. All in favor say aye. Aye. And we still have one opening on the Historic Preservation Board, and I'm told Ms. Powell did pick up an application, so maybe at the next council meeting we'll have the final selection for the board. Certainly like to thank Mr. Kurt Ivey and Councilwoman Bell and Councilwoman Wallman for participating in the Build a More Beautiful Miami, Hands of Miami organization at the Ritz-Carlton in Coconut Grove. Let me tell you, our ladies represented as well. They were the best looking in the audience. So I want to thank Ms. Bell and Ms. Wallman for being there. It went very well. We were well represented. I want to thank the city manager. I also like to congratulate our city clerk. She applied and was recently accepted to the executive MBA program at FIU. So I want to thank her for continuing her staff development. She left. Well done.
That's her chair.
Just want to reemphasize, and the Vice Mayor did talk about, we are in hurricane season, and we all need to prepare and prepare very, very well. I can't overemphasize that enough. It's critically important that every citizen that lives in Homestead look at the booklet that we presented, follow the guidelines, prepare yourself, prepare your families. It is very, very important that you do that. I can't emphasize that enough. We will be giving out information on an ongoing basis, but ultimately it's up to you in protecting and safeguarding your assets, and certainly safeguarding yourself and your family. So please, abide by the rules and listen to the news and follow instructions. And that's all I have.
Mr. LaRue's here. He was out for a month, but he's been here. He's in the back of the room.
Mr. LaRue, we just approved your appointment to the Historic Preservation Board. Would you stand? And just want to thank you for your willingness to be a part of the board. Look forward to your contribution.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And that's all I have. Thank you all very much. Have a good evening.